On today's episode, we go over the reasons that the Cubs did so poorly in the 22 season and where they could improve. We grade pitcher Keegan Thompson, and finally, ticket prices going down at Wrigley. We break it all down next.
Are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Cubs. Thanks for tuning in, and pleased to be with you for a Thursday episode alongside Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. We're lifelong fans taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. And the discussion today on the Cubs is going to lead off with reviewing some reasons for their struggles in 2022. And then we'll go from there. Sam, how's it going today? And I know basketball season began today, but we're all things baseball as we roll on with the fourth show of this week.
Basketball actually began yesterday.
Oh,
I'm doing well, and I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about this Cubs team because that's what we do on here every day.
So I really liked your idea to open this part of the show because
I'm a little tired. Listen, let me take you through my thought process. I'm a little tired.
right.
A lot of free agent talk.
But it's fun, the free agent talk.
It is fun, but it also feels a tad redundant. So I want to just go back and talk about shout out to Smith Marset. I just want to go back and Matt just flashed his Iowa hoodie up. That's why he said that. I want to just talk about
29-point underdog on Saturday against the Ohio State.
Let's not forget that this team wasn't supposed to be as bad as they were until the end and really struggled early on. I'd like to dig in why so we could fix that before next season.
Well, then we'll get the shovels out right here for a few minutes. And we know the Cubs played really well in the second half. They did really well down the stretch of the season, but the first half was putrid. And by May 15th, they were out of the race. I remember quite a few series where there was just a lot of disappointment, a lot of Sunday games where they were so close, they couldn't close the job, they couldn't finish the job.
Take me
on our old program. Wow. We always recorded on Sundays, and it was just kind of an edgy, kind of a moody time.
Right.
But I have some specific reasons why the Cubs were so bad in 2022.
Hit me.
And a lot of it has to do with the offense. And then as we go forward with this discussion, I want to discuss then why I think offense right now is so important in this game and why I'm hoping they open up the checkbook in the next few months for that. The Cubs this season were 19th in batting average, 17th in OBP, 19th in slugging, 17th in OPS, 17th in home runs, and 22nd in runs scored. They just didn't do enough at the plate. A lot of those numbers were the same, which makes sense. There's a lot of crossover there. But they were just too low, middle to lower in the pack, last third of the league. With some of the personnel they were putting out there every day and penciling in the lineup, it adds up to maybe why they're 22nd in one area or 17th or 19th. But it wasn't a joy to watch. It didn't pass the eye test. They didn't score enough. They basically led the league in 1- and 2-run games. They lost a lot of those games. And yes, the margins matter, but the lineup on a day in, day out basis was not good enough, especially in the spring.
2 words for me. And I almost think it's a good thing because the Cubs were not going to make the postseason regardless. And so some of these things I'll get to my point as to you'll see maybe bounce our way. To me, Matt, it's 2 words. You want to know what the 2 words are?
I've been waiting for 30 seconds.
Perfect storm.
Really?
right? I use that word on our old program a lot, that phrase. It was a perfect storm of everything, okay? You start the year, Stroman, 2 of his first 3 starts are arguably, outside of the one at Wrigley against the Cardinals, his 2 worst starts of the year. He gets because when I say early on, Matt, I'm not talking why they were bad in the first half. Because once you start out so bad, and you're supposed to be bad, it becomes a spiral. I'm talking like that pocket from April 1 to May 15th.
Yeah.
Why did that go south? Well, let's talk about it. Stroman gets blown up in Coors Field, gets blown up at Wrigley Field, ends up having a fine season. That was fluky, right? Kyle Hendricks wasn't Kyle Hendricks. At that time, Miley was hurt. There was no Adrian Sampson, right? There was no Wisniewski to come in and bail you out and do those things.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with everything you said offensively. It was an offense very reliant on Schwindel and Wisdom. Both got off the bad starts. Obviously, Schwindel never recovered. The defense and the Jonathan VR and Andrelton Simmonses of the world, those guys were playing every day for the most part. Those guys are not Major League Baseball players anymore. So that made a lot of sense. And then David Ross really struggled early on with decision making. I mean, I'll just give you a quick example.
Please.
Because these games, when you're not supposed to be a good team, those games in April are really important, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was the 3rd game of the year they had a chance to sweep the Brewers. Keep in mind, the Friday game got rained out. The Saturday game, they won 9-0. So all their relievers were fresh. Yes, I understand he did not know who his go-to relievers were, but he did have an idea. And with a 3-run lead or a 2-run lead, he went with Jesse Chavez, who about 8 days later was traded, and Daniel Norris, who we don't have to get into that saga, and you blew the baseball game with plenty of other guys like David Robertson and Givens available to close that game out. It was little things like that was poor, mixed in with just so many non-competitive outings. Even Steele early on struggled with some non-competitive outings. Hendricks was a disaster. I mentioned Stroman early on.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to think who else they had. Smiley, and then who was there? I don't even remember off the top of my head who was the 5th guy to replace him. I'll come up with it. But anyways, it was just a perfect storm. And bad luck. Like, bad luck was also a huge part of it. They had plenty of games where they hit the ball hard, hit it right at people. They had plenty of games where, a ball drops in here, another ball drops in. I mentioned when we talked about our worst games of the season, that White Sox game where Gomes lined out and whatever. It was just the perfect storm of everything with a roster that wasn't great. And that was in combination one of the worst teams in baseball. And things started to turn as the year progressed and you saw what they could be. I think they got it out of their system, and it's going to be better in 2023 with those margins.
That's fantastic conversation right there. I have some more stats to hit your way.
Yeah, hit me.
These are for the season, but I felt like it was a bigger deal early on. If we're talking April 1 to May 15.
Yeah.
And it proved to be a constant throughout the year. And that is 2 words that I have for you.
Yeah.
Base running.
Yeah. Is that 2 words?
Yeah, usually.
Okay.
While the Cubs were 4th in the majors in steals.
Ugh, what a deceiving stat.
They were 14th in times picked off.
No.
And they had the 2nd most outs on the base paths with 68, which doesn't include when a player is caught stealing or picked off.
No, they were reckless.
It's awful.
Reckless, Mateo.
How are you that bad of a base running team in the major leagues?
They were, but that's
who is that on? Is that on Willie Harris, who everybody's gushing over right now? I hear him on the Score. I hear him on 1,000.
Nobody's gushing over Harris.
They are, though.
No,
enough with Willie Harris.
I'm calling you out.
He's got a little bit of swag. Hey, I like the swag, right? But how about we don't get thrown out going 1st to 3rd?
You
How
know
about
what?
we don't get thrown out going second to home?
I'm calling you out right now live on our program. It's not live. There's nobody gushing over Willie Harris.
It certainly sounds like it with their tone of voice.
Why?
But
Because he has a handshake with every guy when they round the bases?
yeah, people like this guy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I dislike him.
I am. No, I'm kidding. No, the base running's a joke. Ross,
Right.
but that's on Ross ultimately. He's got it. He has to nip that in the butt a little bit. You know what they played like a lot during the year, like kind of like a team that knows they're not good enough, and to try and be like a little tricky with the base running. There's a margin of like smart,
chances.
yeah. There's a margin of smart, good, aggressive base running, and then being reckless and eye rolling. And too often they crossed over the border to the latter. Mateo F. Cozy.
Yeah, it was quite too often. And
Go Hawks.
how about just a schedule conversation a bit? Because I know that
That was part of it. That was part of it too. That's the part of the perfect storm. It was a gauntlet.
It was.
They played. I mean, remember that stretch? They were playing a lot of tough teams. It got ugly. The Dodgers, the Braves, Milwaukee, Burns, Woodruff, Peralta. It just wasn't meant to be this year. But 2023 could be different.
And the schedule from March 30th to May 15th is favorable, right? Because I know you have this memorized.
Feed me.
Okay.
It's favorable. They're gonna get off to a good start.
Speaking of good starts, how about a way to start your day off with your clothing? And we're talking about Rhone, Rhone. Have you noticed the pains of dress shirts nowadays? You get up,
Yes.
you hit the snooze button, you roll out of bed,
Mm.
you're looking for some clothes, you struggle to find one that fits, that feels good, that's breathable, that keeps you cool. Well, Rhone can do all of those things. Why hasn't there been a dress shirt that just makes you feel good? Well, now there is. The dress shirt was due for radical reinvention, and Rhone stepped up to the challenge. Rhone's commuter shirt is the most comfortable, breathable, and flexible shirt known to man, and here's why. The comfortable four-way stretch fabric provides breathability and flexibility that leaves you free to enjoy what life throws your way, from your commute to work to 18 holes of golf. It's time to feel confident with the wrinkle-free shirt without the hassle. And with Rhone's wrinkle release technology, wrinkles disappear as you stretch and wear the shirt. And with their Gold Fusion anti-odor technology, you'll be smelling fresh and clean all day long. And it's 100% machine washable, so you can ditch the dry cleaner altogether. The commuter shirt can get you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. Go right now. You don't want to miss this. Head to Rhone.com/lockedon and use the promo code LOCKEDON to save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to RHONE.com/lockedon and use the code LOCKEDON. It's time to find your corner office comfort. We're back here on Locked On Cubs. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Pleased to be with you for a Thursday episode. We've graded a few players so far. Next on our report card is Keegan Thompson, the 27-year-old right-handed pitcher. He started, he relieved Sam, and he's an exciting player.
Nice intro, Mateo.
I thought it was.
Look, no, it was good.
I've been holding a pen a lot more this week because I feel like I'm on College game day.
Really?
Or something like that. Yeah, I feel it makes you feel like it's that the ante has been upped.
So the Keegan Thompson grade is pretty tricky. That's why I suggested it today.
It is tricky, yeah.
I'd like to give 2 grades.
Really? I don't know if you could do that, player.
Listen, I
I'm
can't
the
do it.
CEO of this show.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
And I'm going to allow you to give 2 grades.
Okay. As a starter, I give Keegan Thompson a D.
Wow. That's
D
not
plus.
a good grade.
D plus, I'll say.
I mean, let's hear it.
As a reliever, I give him a flat A. Combine the combine the two grades together, I give to Keegan Thompson's 2022 campaign a B minus. So look, the numbers probably aren't as bad as a starter as I'm saying. I always talk about this on this show. The Cubs as a start with their starters need more blank you stuff. They need more swings and misses. They need more 6 innings, 10K outings. Keegan Thompson really struggles as a starter to maintain his stuff and maintain his velocity as a game goes. Now, he had some success early on in the year as a starter, and he was really the talk of the town. But I think both of us said, on our other program, it did feel a little bit unsustainable. I actually like Keegan Thompson better than Justin Steele in the beginning of the year, so I was fooled a little bit. As a reliever in short 2-3 inning bursts, I think he could be as valuable as any reliever in the game. He throws 95, 96. His slider is wicked. He has 2 to 3 inning stamina. But that third time through the order, that OPS climbs, right? And it kind of blows up on him a little bit. And, to me, that's where I come up with that B minus grade. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I think it's all fair. It might be strange to hear this, but I think part of Keegan Thompson's appeal right now is you don't know where he fits in.
Right.
And boy, do I hope the Cubs don't pay for a closer this winter. And could someone like Keegan Thompson actually finish games? Could an Alzolay finish? Could Hughes?
Absolutely.
And I think he'll prepare behind the scenes as a starter the next few months. But I think the likelihood is that he's a relief pitcher. He had his shortest outing of the season on June 15th in Yankee Stadium.
Right.
And then after that, he posted an ERA in the high ones over his next 5 starts.
Right.
But then after that stretch, he was really an opponent of consistency. And then he was sidelined by injury.
So let me read you some. Can I read you some game logs?
Yes.
That are really interesting.
Awesome.
Okay. So his bad stretch in August, right? He has 4 starts, 4 2/3 innings, 10 hits, 5 earned versus St. Louis. Then, do you remember he goes 6 innings, allows 1 earned against the Nationals? And I came on this show. What did I say? Don't remember?
No, we've done 80 shows.
I told you, I said that was a deceiving outing. He didn't look good. Don't you remember that? Because
I do remember that.
You complimented me later on. I was like, that was not a good outing. That was just a bad Nationals team hitting like a bad Nationals team.
Okay.
After that, he goes 1 2/3 innings in Cincinnati, gives up 4 earned. 3 2/3 innings, gives up 5 earned, and then they shut him down for a while. During this stretch, Matt, in 4 starts, in 16 innings, guess how many strikeouts?
7?
9. Then he goes an outstanding 4-game relief stretch. They bring him back at the end of the year. Okay. He goes 10 2/3 innings, allows 2 earned runs, and strikes out
15?
17.
Wow.
It's a totally
gosh.
It's a totally different
Great
picture.
job right there.
And I understand that there's sample sizes, right? Well,
yeah.
But even when Keegan was throwing the ball great. So let's go to a stretch in June where he was really awesome as a starter.
Right.
27 1/3 innings, 27 strikeouts, right? And that's not bad. That's not bad at all. I'm not saying it's bad. But the upgrade that you get with him out of the bullpen, and you have a lot of depth at starter, I just don't think it makes sense to start him. I want to see him as an A reliever. I feel really good about that segment.
I'm giving Keegan Thompson a flat C.
And by the way, I just want to remind people I'm single. Go ahead.
I'm giving Keegan Thompson a C. And but yeah, I just echo and what we're talking about here.
I think C's harsh, Mateo.
I know it is.
Yeah.
And he was nearly dominant out of the pen. So
C's hard.
Let's keep an eye on him.
I wouldn't want to be in your class.
we close out the show with some Cubs ticketing information, some breaking news on the program coming up next. We're back here on Locked On Cubs and excited to be with you for a Thursday episode as we roll on here.
I love this program and I love our fans, listeners. I don't like when
do we have the best fans?
No, but that's an arrogant thing to say. They're not our fans. We're not cool enough to have fans. They listen to our program. Yeah, they're listeners. I apologize. I shouldn't have said that. Fans. What am I? I was gonna make a Beatles comment. I did it yesterday and I got nothing.
What are you in One Direction or something?
I was good. Oh man, I was gonna say Freddie Mercury. You know who doesn't have? Have a lot of fans? The Chicago Bears.
No, they do though. That's the problem.
No, it's embarrassing.
Now you're not lacking some sharpness when it comes to your recall, are you? Freddie Mercury is the lead singer of which band?
Oh, Queen, of course.
Queen, right.
I just come on, listen, I didn't fall, I don't have a disease. It's just 9:34 Central. I'm getting to that point of the night and something slipped my mind a little bit. Jeez. Well, why don't you ask me next? Who's the 16th president?
You might know it though.
Of course, it's Abraham Lincoln. No, that was the point. It's an obvious thing. See, you're the one that's not with us. You asked me who the lead singer of Queen is. Hey, who are the two guys that wrote a lot of songs for that band in the 60s, the Beatles? Well, of course I know that.
There was another comment today about those guys.
As there should be. Some guy, yeah, or our main guy, Darren, said that I remind him a little bit of Ringo Starr. Yeah, I get by with a little help from my friends. Come on. All right, come on.
Is that because you beat to your own drummer?
Let's get into the segment.
The Cubs are lowering ticket prices by 5% for 2023.
Great.
They were
Maybe now I could actually go to the game and then pay my phone bill after.
They were ninth. This is a goofy show. They were ninth in attendance in all of baseball, but it was the lowest attendance at Wrigley Field since 1997.
And they still charge the most.
They charged a lot. They've had a home record the last two seasons of 76 and 91.
Ugh.
A lot of losses. So with that 5% decrease, for example, a bleacher ticket, which averaged $47 in 2022.
Come on.
Will average $44 in 2023.
And you wanted to talk about this? Why? Great. I'm gonna go to the game and then after text my mom and see if she'll Venmo me for some gas. Jeez. It's an optics thing, right?
It was time. It was time though.
Don't you think it's just more optics than anything else?
It is. I even remember we were interviewed for that project over the summer.
Yeah, that was a great project.
And the interviewer asked us about attendance and prices.
Right.
I think it was a foregone conclusion that they would have lowered those prices, don't you?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why you're laughing.
we gotta get going here.
No, why? I don't understand why you're laughing. I'm not doing anything.
I know.
I'm just sitting here.
Oh boy. So I will say this though.
I think. Look, can I at least give my take on it?
Yeah. Sorry.
I think it's a little bit of optics. You know,
a lot of optics. You're right.
A lot of optics, just to make a fan think they're saving a couple of bucks because, they're going to invest a lot of money and they're going to make more money next year than they are last year, regardless, because they're going to have a way better team and there's going to be a lot of buzz around it. That's my take.
Yeah, there's going to be no laughing on Friday's program because we're doing the definitive breakdown of the former Cubs core.
We're going to break down every member of the Cubs core: Schwarber, Baez, Rizzo, Bryant. I'm also going to throw a little nugget about the Darvish trade, even though he wasn't a part of it. It's a big episode.
Huge.
And I want to apologize in advance if I offend anybody because I'm going to keep it really real.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be some shades of Sam Olber back in October of 2020. When the Cubs were eliminated from the Marlins, folks, this guy had a rant beyond belief.
And we titled the episode, "You're Not Good Enough."
And those guys weren't good enough for a while. and we're going to break it all down on
I won't
Friday.
be talking about Addison Russell on the program because I don't know what continent he's on.
Yeah. We're gonna try to find him as well, or not. But yeah, looking forward to that. Thanks everybody for tuning in today. Please subscribe on YouTube. We eclipsed the 1,300 mark today.
Pretty cool.
And give us a like, comment. We've had a ton of interaction really since the start of last week. We would love to keep that going. And Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your pods on the audio side. And please stick with Locked On with the Game to Game podcast and Locked On MLB. There was not one, but 2 playoff games today, and they will have all that coverage for you as well. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.